showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're drive-in theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Good evening, everybody. What's going on? Welcome once again to the Drive-In Speaker Box Podcast. I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I am Slick Doggy the Grip.
And it is another Monday night. It's 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we are live from the Drive-In Speaker Box Studios. It is June 29th, 2026. Thanks for joining us. We're back. We're back in the studio. It is hot as hell in here in the studio tonight. One of those things that, yeah, it is. I'm already sweaty. Already sweaty. One of the things that you don't understand if you don't know what we're doing here in the studio, we turn the air conditioner off while we record because of sound quality. Because I'm an old retired sound guy, not retired, but you know what I mean. I just don't do it anymore. And in the summer heat here, our studio's in the top floor of a building with a steel roof, and it's not exactly the most well insulated building in the world here. And it's just warm. It's just very warm. And there's no central air conditioning in this place. So the window unit had to work extra. And you'll hear this speech probably again before the summer's over. So, man, welcome to the show. So we did see some movies this week. I went and saw the Supergirl movie, which we're going to be talking about later in the program, about the 30-minute mark, which Jake is super excited about. I know he is so pumped to be talking about Supergirl. And we both saw Jackass.
Yeah, we independently went and watched Jackass, best and last.
And we're gonna be talking about that over on Twitch. Shout outs to one of our viewers there, Merle. Just subbed a bunch of subs there. They're 35% off. So thanks, man. Thanks for those subs. If you want to get in on all the live stream fun, you can do it. You can go tune in over at our Twitch channel. You can find all of our links for simulcasting on YouTube and recording this thing and putting it out wherever it is you download your podcast. Just go to our link tree, driveinspeakerbox.com. Well, with that, let's jump into the movie news, because that's what we do at the beginning of every show. We talk to you about the past week. Some stuff happened. We had a trailer for Werewolf, the Eggers, the new Eggers Werewolf movie. Which, did you see this trailer?
No, I hadn't.
It's freaking cool, dude. I mean,
I saw the trailers for the last 3 or 4 werewolf movies that came out within the last year, but I had not seen this one.
This one's pretty cool, though, because I think that old Mr. Eggers is kind of freaking awesome, and he did a great job with Nosferatu, you know, and then he is this trailer to Werewolf with the U, right? Set place in medieval Britain.
Okay. Now, medieval setting makes that instantly interesting.
And led by a dude who kind of already looks like he might be a lycanthrope, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
So he's doing the Craven thing again.
He is, but this time in probably a more appropriate setting with a more appropriate director and a more appropriate storyline.
So someone saw him in Craven, and they were like, he runs like an animal and he wears the fur. But what if he was a werewolf?
What if we just make him an animal?
And so, what if the pitch for that movie was just one of those scenes and they held a piece of paper with a wolf's head in front of his face?
That was Robert Eggers in the
That's the alien dollar sign
in the pitch meeting.
Yeah.
They're like, well, who's going to be the lead character? Willem Dafoe? And he goes, no, of course, Willem Dafoe's going to be in this movie. Don't get me wrong. But then, yeah, he held the werewolf picture over Aaron Taylor Johnson's Craven picture. And they're like, all right, green light.
It has half the cast of Nosferatu.
Well, yeah, because it's Robert Eggers. He already knows. He's like, okay, these people know what I want. These people know it's going to be weird, and it's going to be amazing. So,
that's fair. Yeah, being set in medieval, that makes it sound really cool.
Dude.
Because
I'm pretty pumped.
you don't have it where people can just unleash on a werewolf with like a 50 cal or something.
Right, or just going, get them, pow, 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 pow. Silver bullets don't exist, dude, because guns don't exist.
And it's a more interesting time than when was the Benicio del Toro? That one was in like the 1800s.
That was in the 1800s, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more interesting
Which,
than that.
arguably, the Benicio del Toro movie would have been great if they had let the team that was doing the character creature design do what they wanted to do.
Oh, I was gonna say that the creature effects in it, the transformation stuff was still pretty good.
Well, you know, what's his name? I am. Oh gosh, I could draw you a picture of him. Well, hang on, I'm going to feel stupid.
Werewolf.
He's super Rick Baker. Baker. He was supposed to be the head of the visual effects team, and he was, of course, leading the charge with all. He wanted every bit of it to be practical. And then, but Universal was on this whole like, no, CGI is what everybody wants right now.
But was he not like, hey dog, I am the werewolf?
He's
guy?
like, I'm Mr. Werewolf, right? And they're like, how about you let me do this? And they're like, no, but more computers, more, make him jump on the ceiling, make him get real big and run around and have. We've got animators that can do hair.
So I'm not gonna say any of that part was good. I'm saying like the transformation part and like the look of it was cool, but then as soon as it was in the action, then
it sucked.
Yeah. Okay.
And it ruined it. And it could have been way better if they just let Rick Baker do what Rick Baker does.
Yeah.
And now Rick Baker, you know, he's still working, but he's a little up there in age.
Arcog 77 says if it's half as good as Nosferatu, love it. Yeah, I think so. If it's like Nosferatu without like the 50 Shades of Grey element to it, I think it'll be great. Yeah,
we're just gonna see Wolf Dong, like a mustached Wolf Dong.
Because that was the one thing of Nosferatu in the movie theater was like everyone being like, oh. I was like, okay, everyone.
But you know, like
you're in public.
Dracula's horny though. That's Dracula's whole thing. Yeah. So, but anyway, that trailer dropped. I'm pretty excited about it.
Just one star punch over with the Wolf Dong comment.
Also, Netflix Avatar Season 2, the live action, is dropped this week. Looking for it. I kind of enjoyed it. I know you don't know anything about anything Avatar, even though it's one of the greatest animated cartoon series ever created. Really? And you make that face, but you cannot say if you didn't vote, you can't complain.
I've watched like 10 episodes.
You haven't watched it all. That's like you telling me, "Oh man, watch Star Trek," and I watched like 3 or 10 episodes. I'm like, this is stupid. And you're like, hang on a second. You told me get to season 3 of Next Gen before it gets good.
No, not Next Gen. Next Gen starts up fantastic. Deep Space Nine, you got to wait till Worf shows up for it to really take off. But it's good. Deep Space Nine gets good in season 2.
Yeah, and Avatar gets freaking amazing.
I'll give you that Deep Space Nine is one of those shows where it's like, no, dude, the first season sucks. Just get through it. Because it's like real heavy dialogue and it's like weighted tone, emotion in the background show. And if you're not like a big Trek fan, a bunch of it's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But then once it gets to season 2, you're like, I don't know.
Once it catches its stride, it's good. And so Avatar, The Last Airbender is definitely like that. It's really, by the end of it, you're just like, I cannot believe they put me on this emotional roller coaster. Like, how did they do that? Because the first couple episodes, I hated the first couple episodes of Avatar because he's like, oh, he's riding a penguin. Ha, ha, ha. Look at that. It's funny. It's cute. Yeah. And I'm like, this is stupid. And then by the end, I am sobbing. And and I'm screaming. Like, I've seen the soundtrack performed orchestrally live twice. And when they play Secret Tunnel, everyone cries. Secret tunnel.
I like the idea
through the mountain.
Of Donnie Bosco and Mark Hamill being in a show together,
dude.
But
Mako,
oh yeah,
you gonna poo on Mako?
Oh, I forgot that Mako was in
General Iroh, one of the greatest character arcs in animated TV history.
He's Donnie Bosco's dad or grandpa.
So yeah, he's General Iroh. He's this lovable old man that loves his grandson, who his grandson is obsessed with his father, who cast him out. He's the Fire Lord, and his father's a dickhead. But his grandfather is just like, oh, I will teach you, do not worry. He's just like, drink this tea. And he's like such a lovable dude. But you find out later
I've heard that,
he's a war criminal. And he's like been carrying all the burdens of like mass genocide, and because he was the Dragon of the West.
But he decided to like be a good dude afterward.
He found like this was wrong. And then so he's been on this mission of repenting for his sins and trying to make sure that his grandson does not follow in those footsteps.
Was Mark Hamill a different character, or did he take over after Mako died?
I think somebody else took over, but Mark Hamill does like 3 or 4 voices.
Yeah,
I mean,
because I thought Mark Hamill was also a dude that liked tea. But I don't know. I haven't watched it. I've just watched interviews with the actors. Yeah.
It's good. It's so good. But I will be watching the new live action and reporting back to you, so we will see. What you got on your paper?
Man, you know what? Talking Mark Hamill real quick. Batman animated. We got the announcement in the trailer for Nightfall, which is going to be a 3-part series, and it has someone that people have wanted to be Batman real bad for a long time. Old dude from Supernatural. One of the Supernatural brothers. And I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head.
But that one.
That one. He's voicing Batman, and everyone is like, "Oh yeah, dude, this is sick. We wanted him to be Batman real bad." And so yeah, you're getting him as animated, gets his back broke by Bane, proper Bane, not Middle Eastern weird Tom Hardy Bane, but real luchador drug dealer cartel Bane. Yeah. So that's going to be maybe cool, possibly, while the rest of DC is just finding its way further and further into the toilet and DC, swimming in the septic tank.
So everybody's talking that James Gunn might be sweating his freaking job right now.
Dog, 100%, because as soon as they can knock him out of that seat with the freaking Superman 2, they're definitely doing it, because Superman made no money, right? And no matter what numbers you read, you have to think. And I wish is Dina here? I haven't seen her. If Dina was here, maybe she could help tell you that movies, they have their budget, their advertising budget, but what they don't tell you is all of the interests that they're having to pay on these loans and stuff like that too, and the insurance fees and stuff like that stack on top of this. Superman didn't crest over shit, right? And that movie's kind of poop, going past the excitement that anyone may have had of being like, well, it's really cool to see Mr. Terrific on screen, and whoa, what else was in that movie? Crypto or some shit. Who cares? The rest of that
dog was funny.
The rest of that,
my kid really liked the dog.
Yeah. The rest of that movie sucked. They're like, oh, Guy Gardner was funny, because I never even heard of Guy Gardner before.
What a haircut,
dude! He had a bowl cut. Oh, hilarious, dude. Guy Gardner was so cool. Besides any of that, the movie sucked, right?
Yeah,
it was not
a
good.
movie.
And if you go back, even if you liked it, go back and watch it again. You're not going to like it. You're going to look at it and be like, Mr. Terrific's kind of neat, but the rest of this movie is total poop.
So Star Punch said something that's interesting on Twitch, is sorry it couldn't be the joyful funnest that was Zack Snyderverse. Because DC is not joyful all the time. Like, you go back to the history of the greatest DC movies, you go back and you go, oh man, everyone sure did like The Dark Knight. Oh man, everyone sure did like the original Batman, where the Joker just genocided a whole bunch of people with laughing gas.
Right.
Oh man, everyone sure did love the old Superman movies, where it's like trapped in the Mirrorverse, and he comes in and he's trying to destroy everything. Like, Chris, what's his name? The original Christopher Reeve didn't just fly up and go, "Here's my dog, bark, bark, bark."
Yeah, DC really found its stride talking about
by
things
being serious,
and it found its broader audience outside of just comic book fans. Well, one in the 60s, when they made things extremely goofy, I guess they had the, not Christopher Reeve, but whatever Reeve, George Reeve.
George Reeve, yeah.
They had the George Reeve Superman, which was successful, and then they had the 60s goofy DC, 70s the Super Friends show, but then DC found its big mass popularity more than anything else outside of Batman in the 60s with dark, gritty Batman stuff.
So to me, I feel like Marvel and DC have very, very different flavors. And, to me, Marvel's always been a little more over the top, a little more colorful, and a little more zany in terms of just some of the characters and some of their powers, especially when you get into the X-Men and stuff. And DC, all this, they've always, to me, had a lot more grittier, more interesting, more, the storylines had a little bit more, repercussions and a little more consequence to me. You go back and you look at a Flashpoint, the Flashpoint storyline in the animated version is amazing, and there's nothing cool or funny or silly or zany about him watching his parents die hundreds of thousands of times while he breaks the entire fabric of the universe trying to fix this horrible, horrific murder moment in life. And then when he comes back and he realizes, he watches Aquaman get his face ripped off and Wonder Woman speared right in front of him, and he's like, what did I do? And it's not there wasn't Crypto the Super Dog going, oh, you knocked over some bottles again, jarg. And I think Marvel turned that whole action comic book movies have to be this formula, but we have exhausted this formula. And then by the time we exhausted that formula, DC's well, we want some of that formula. And then they tried to jump into it, but we were already over it. We don't like the taste. We canceled our Mr. Pibb. It's no longer in the machine because they don't think we want it anymore. And so now DC doubled down on hiring the guy that invented that shit when we don't want it anymore.
Yeah, James Gunn can't let go of his making his what is it, the Super Friends in space, what's the friggin' the soundtrack, the movie bullshit movie,
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Guardians clones. Yeah, everything has to be a Guardians clones where it can't figure out when and if it should be silly and when and if it should be serious, and it just can't make it work.
I mean, just go back and look at the Batman the Animated Series. That was literally gothic dark and is one of the coolest things ever, and kids love it.
Yeah, dude. Of course they do. Batman Animated Series was sick. So yeah, I guess we're getting a new Batman animated. Maybe DC animated will keep DC alive. Maybe Paramount won't just axe everything WB there. Hey, speaking of things like this, live action movies of weird, goofy properties that are too much silly and too much serious at the same time. Did you see that they have announced a live action Sea of Thieves movie?
What?
Yeah. No, but check this part out. The guy.
So is it going to just be a Monkey Island movie? Because I'm here for that.
None of that's out there yet, and I'll get to that in just a second. It's being produced by the director of Spider-Man Brand New Day, but they haven't set a director for it. But the heads of Xbox were like, when you talk about Sea of Thieves, there's not really a main character. The player is the character. And there's not really a story because every time is different.
And they go, perfect.
And the whole nature of Sea of Thieves, the whole premise of the game is that you died and you woke up and you're in the Sea of Thieves and you can just continue to die and you'll never leave the Sea of Thieves because every day is a Groundhog's Day on the Sea of Thieves. And so, man, I just wrote your friggin' movie, actually. I just gave it to him. Gold. Put my name on the writing credits. I want to see some money. But what they said is that it doesn't have a character. It doesn't have a story. What it has is a overall tone and cooperative.
It's just David
community.
Attenborough narrating pirate stuff.
Yeah, just pirates running into each other and killing each other,
honestly,
and fighting skeletons and stuff.
You could do.
There's some story there with the boss fights. It's just you're going to have to make a character that people don't absolutely hate.
Guybrush Threepwood.
Well, yeah, but if you make a Monkey Island movie, Monkey Island already has its own story.
Yeah.
because Sea of Thieves has like the skeletons. It has old Flamebeard.
Yeah. LeChuck.
Yeah. No, not LeChuck.
He's Flamebeard.
No, the Sea of Thieves has its own guy. It has all these like skeletons that are powered and imbued with different powers that you have to fight as boss
Yes,
battles. And
I
stuff.
know. We played it for years.
They don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. We played a hell of a lot of Sea of Thieves, and
And I mean, it has all
miss
the
those
tall
days.
tales. There are some interesting characters that could be formed from those tall tales.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And there's all the books with the characters and stuff like that, like the Prince dude or whatever. There's some cool stuff, but you can make him the main character, the big mustache guy.
Yeah.
It could be a prequel to the game, and you could have him versus Flamebeard.
There you go.
I did it. Okay.
We cracked the code.
All right, I did it. I fixed it. We fixed it.
The genesis of how Flamebeard came to be, the guy with the sword,
Yeah,
the whole...
the prince with the mustache dude. The prequel to Sea of Thieves. There is a comic book out there that exists.
There's
there's a comic book.
Oh, I haven't
for
checked
it.
that
out. And I think there's like a novel. But yeah, so I mean, anyhow, we just wrote your movie. You're welcome. Please send us a check and a contract. So anyhow, the Sea of Thieves movie, we'll see if they listen to anything that we just told them. Probably not. But though ideas we have a bad
turned
habit
into
of
movies.
turning into real things.
Yes, they have.
Tomorrow, talking movies that we might like is I Love Boosters is making its way to digital
Watch
as
it.
of tomorrow.
Watch that
So
movie.
You can rent it at home.
Easily my favorite movie of 2026.
Also, we're getting a live action Lego hybrid movie with Keanu Reeves, and that's all that's out there right now. Is that it's a mixture of live action
Keanu, dude.
and Lego, and it's gonna have Keanu Reeves in it.
They'll never top Roger Rabbit. They'll just never do it.
I don't know if it's gonna be that level, because I mean, I guess the original Lego movie in a
Had
way,
some live action scenes.
yeah, because it has Will Ferrell being
yeah.
the shitty dad at the end of the movie, and it turned out it was a kid playing with Legos the whole time. Spoiler alert. We also got the announcement that there's going to be the Magic School Bus live action.
Girl, that's a booty hole. Not a hole, Keisha. A valve.
Yeah, what a great meme. Elizabeth Banks is going to be Miss Frizzle.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Really?
I like Elizabeth Banks.
I don't know, dude. There's times I do and times I really don't. I like her more than I don't.
Overall, she's pretty funny.
But as Miss Frizzle,
well, who else you gonna get?
as someone more Frizzle-esque.
What are you gonna get? What are you gonna get? Who else? What's that? You know who they'd cast? What's that? The lady from Sex and the City. What was her name?
Which one?
I don't know. The one
Because there's the one that was in Star Trek.
No,
And
the
then
main one that sucks.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
No.
They'll just get her.
What? No.
They're gonna get somebody terrible. Anyway, ew.
Yeah. So we'll see. Magic School Bus. I don't know if kids even know about.
Just
Magic
give me my
School
Wishbone movie.
Bus. Dude, Wishbone was I saw a thing about that, and they're like, dude, actually, the dog was such a good actor. They're like,
Wishbone ruled.
they're like, the only way that Wishbone worked is because that Jack Russell was a hell of an actor.
Which reminds me, one of the things I hated about the Supergirl movie, which we'll talk about later, is
CGI dog.
CGI dog, and we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
A CGI dog that was a bad actor. Yeah. Jason Statham as Kylo. That'd be sick.
Because go into CGI animals versus real animals. Like there are things that real animals can do on screen that you're like, that's a real animal, and watching this on screen is hella cute and adorable.
Dude, Air Bud.
Yeah. Air Bud, or just any movie that you see that have real animals, but then you make it CGI and they just do the same stuff. It's not as cute and it's not as funny because it's also not real,
No
and
character.
or you're not impressed that that dog was trained enough to, or that animal or whatever animal it was that was trained enough to do that. You're like, there's something like when a dog sits at home. And you're like, oh wow, what a good boy, you did it. But then you get a little robot toy that goes meh, 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 and sits and is also a dog, you're like, well, that's just what it fucking does, and it's stupid.
Yeah. Well, and dogs in particular have personalities that really shine through.
Exactly.
And you can see that on film. Actually, I think a lot of canine actors emote and show their personality far better than their human counterparts in a lot of different movies.
Agreed.
But yeah, hey, you know what? Talking about dumbass things made out of CGI that no one really needs to have ever. Endgame is being re-released with some additional title to it. And I don't know if they're doing a part 1 and 2, but at least part 1. Because what was the second one called? Part 1 was Endgame and part 2 was... I don't know. I'm
Why
not
are
a
they
Marvel
doing
guy,
this?
but Anniversary, dude.
Oh god.
But it's a new movie.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It hasn't
never
been
will
out
be.
that long, right? Like
No.
it has not been out long enough for it to have an anniversary. Holy crap! The first one was Infinity War. Okay, so we're just getting the second half. We're getting the back half.
What an anniversary.
Talking about movies that deserve anniversaries and matter and are really good and don't use a bunch of CGI because it was barely a thing. Did you see the trailer for Fathom Events, Terminator, Anniversary, T2?
Well, yeah, I did see that in the theater. I mean, we've already seen it.
Yeah, but we saw it in 3D. And this time's a chance to see it in not 3D.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, dude, I'm into that.
I don't have to wear those stupid glasses.
Yeah, the 3D was really good. And
it was, but I hate those stupid glasses.
Yeah, but only because the additional changes that James Cameron made were tasteful. They're like, you know how you could always see it was a stuntman's face on the leap into the LA River? What if it was Arnold's face? And you're like, oh, that looks great. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Fixed it.
And he's like, you know how everything else was awesome? Well, we didn't touch that at all. We just sharpened the picture, made it crispy, made sure the color was great. We enhanced the sound.
Enhance.
Yeah. The rest of the movie is exactly how you remember it. And I was like, yeah, this is great.
It's exactly how you remember it.
Yeah. So it was
Badass.
perfect. T2 3D was awesome. And this is our chance to see it without the 3D. Just the enhanced.
Oh, well,
T2.
I'm going to be there. You know I'm going to be there.
Dude, I'm so stoked.
Duh.
Something else that I thought was interesting, because I didn't catch the werewolf bit, but something else set in medieval settings is a samurai movie. A samurai mystery movie.
Medieval samurais?
Well, I mean, Japan was in
at that time. Their
in
medieval
their middle
era.
ages until 1860 something. Till we marched in that bitch and we said, knock knock, open up. That's what Shogun show's about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a movie called The Samurai and the Prisoner, and it's like it's a whoddunit thing.
I love that.
But it's like Rashomon. I don't know if any of you ever watched Rashomon.
Rashomon's good.
I love Rashomon. Which was based on a story. I have the bilingual book of Rashomon.
Rashomon?
Yeah. I need to buy the Blu-ray and have it at home. But yeah, Rashomon's a great movie. Akira Kurosawa mystery movie where all of these travelers end up in this like rundown temple thing, and they're like they go through and there's like a trial and stuff. It's very good.
Sounds fun to me.
Yeah, it's very fun. So new movie coming out, The Samurai and the Prisoner. It's like whodunit. The description in the article I read said it's Shogun meets
Scooby-Doo?
no Poirot.
Okay.
What's the Agatha Christie?
Agatha Christie.
Yeah, it said it's Shogun meets Agatha Christie, and I was like, hey,
Shagatha Christie.
yeah, I'm like, count me in. Those are two things that samurai.
Hey, chigaimasu.
Yeah, samurai and Agatha Christie, I'm in. So that might end up being pretty interesting.
Right on. Well, it's time to tell you what comes out in movie theaters this week. Speaking of new stuff, this weekend is a holiday weekend. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of movies coming out. Not a lot. Well, actually, there are a lot of movies. One big one, obviously, because you've probably seen trailers for it. Not even trailers. They're just everywhere, and I'm so sick of seeing them because I don't think that the brand of comedy is funny, but it's Minions and Monsters. It's coming out actually on Wednesday, July 1st, which is pretty unusual for movies to come out on Wednesdays, but it's a holiday. They're going to do this.
Is it anymore?
Well, for a holiday, it's not unusual, but so that way they can go, beat an all-time opening weekend record because the weekend was measured over the past 19 days. And
Hey, when we get to the end of the show and we talk about how much or how little money Supergirl made, I will be sure to remind you guys that was released on Wednesday as well. So their money is counting at 2 extra days.
So Minions and Monsters, Star Punch on Twitch says my kid loves Minions. Everyone's kids love Minions because they make us all dumber. I think the Minions, I go back and I look throughout the history of children's cartoons, popular characters, and this one is just, it's some of the lowest common denominator. It's like, everybody's like, yeah, farts are funny, but if we never progress past fart jokes, then what are we? Like, we can always look back and go, yeah, that's funny. But Minions, it's so many times that it's the same shit. And just because, like, it was funny the one time and someone's kid liked it that one time, like, that is the problem with making movies that are centered around, like, well, it made my kid laugh one time. And, like, and I'm going to use you as a guinea pig because you spoke up on this topic, is to this day, Star Punch is like, you know what? Ghostbusters is fundamental in my life. RoboCop is fundamental in my life. And these things were not, like, cutesy fartsy, like it showed its butt crack, wore an overall, and went me mama kaboobacop. It was something more, and it turned you into a lifelong fan, and also a grown adult that can still be a lifelong fan. Like, is your kid at age 45 going to be like, oh man, beep bop boop booger? Like, that's not cool after about 5 years, right, or 6 years, or unless you want to have infantile brain for the rest of their life. Well, okay, it says probably. So I think that
like, dog, let's get real. Yes, like 100%. Yeah.
One of the reasons that I get mad at franchises like this is that they don't grow up with their audience, and I think that a good franchise should. Right, because if you want to be like kind of the voice of the icon of a generation, it's like grow up with your audience. And I mean, not to I don't like praising J.K. Rowling very often anymore, but I mean that was one of the things that she did amazingly well at in her body of work with the Harry Potter books, is they didn't stay like 7th grade or 6th grade the whole time. It like grew up with the audience, and by the end of it, it's like, there's consequence, and there's death, and there's struggle, and there's marriage, and there's love, and there's all this kind of stuff. In the first one, it's like, we're kids with magic powers, and
yeah, but
Minions hasn't grown up at all.
So what you're saying is that Minions should also copy the Bible and Lord of the Rings?
I think that the Minions just need to go in a direction, at least, like, do something else. Like, the shtick is old, and it's just not. When are we just all becoming that dumb and easy to entertain, where it's like getting, seeing a little yellow booty crack like the 50,000th time is.
You say little yellow booty crack, it makes it funny.
But it's the same booty crack that we've seen, and he bends over and he goes, "Go, baby, go, mimi, go, booty crack," and you're like, oh, geez, man. I just think that they should evolve or change or be something different, or just stop. And like, even at Toy Story 5, which is at the box office right now, the story continues to grow, right? It continues to it evolved past, like, okay, well, Buzz Lightyear is the toy with batteries, and now they're like, okay, well, we have all been alive for 25 years. We've seen the internet killing the concept of play and imagination, and so they kind of tackled that idea of like, what's new in the world of Toy Story. And it's like, okay, well, what's new in the world of Minions and Monsters? Oh, it's Gary going beep bop boo boo and like showing his little yellow butt cheeks again. It's like nothing is new in the world of Minions, except for there's another one, and you can have another one.
Star Punch's idea of Minions doing heroin and playing Russian roulette's pretty funny. Just the idea of them screaming Minion words as they like.
That would actually be pretty funny.
Yeah, and then when one of them blows himself away, all the rest of them like pointing like they lose it and they just laugh their asses off.
Mark
Their
Landry
little yellow butt cracks off.
on YouTube says this sounds like people bitching about the Eminem not being sexy anymore. Well, I am gonna bitch about the Eminem not being sexy anymore.
Back in my day.
Not because like I need a sexy, fuckable Eminem. Like it's because I think that
Which Eminem are you talking
the
about?
green one.
I can see you.
She's a babe.
And you're just like, yeah, dude, the yellow.
Well, they changed her shoes, man, because what some Tucker Carlson or whatever on Fox News was like, this makes me feel things in my peener, and like it's just wrong.
Because she had heels on?
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude, get over it. It's so stupid. But anyway, I've got other movies to talk about. Speaking of America,
John Lovitz is a pretty sexy everything.
Thanks. Speaking of America 250, and this weekend, Young Washington is coming out in theaters this weekend. And if you haven't seen the trailers for this, good.
Hey, just real quick, because you said it stinks. Someone posted that The Critic is on some streaming service for free. It's on Pluto or something like that.
Wow, that's a great show.
And people are discovering The Critic, and they're like, yeah, hey, this show is amazing.
It's incredible.
We've been telling you all that for a long time.
I have the DVD box set. The Critic's fantastic. A lot of that humor is going to be over people's heads because it was kind of timely with movies at the time.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's still very, very good. But written and directed by John Irwin, and it's a young George Washington facing war, betrayal, and impossible choices that will forge a leader. So coming out just in time for America 250, dude. We've got Andy Serkis, Ben Kingsley, Kelsey Grammer, Mary Louise Parker, other people. You can see the story of young George Washington this weekend. So that's coming out on July 3rd, so you can catch it a little bit earlier. And then on July 10th, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. There's some stuff coming out in July 10th, but this is what you got. You got Young Washington. Mm-hmm. You got Minions and Monsters. And then next week, we got some big movies. We got 4 big movies coming out next week. So, I got a little excited because there's a movie I want to talk about next week. Gail Daugherty and the Celebrity Sex Pass. I am really looking forward to this movie. It's not this week. It's next week. But I do want to talk about it because...
John Hamm.
Well, no, it's written and directed by David Wayne and written by Ken Marino.
Ken Marino's a funny guy.
Well, they're all the former the people from the state. You're the old MTV The State, and so some of them went off and did like Reno 911, and some of them went off and did like Stella, which was David Wayne, David Showalter, and Michael Ian Black, and Ken Marino and their little crew, Joe Latrulio and Thomas Lennon, and all those guys went on and did like Reno 911 and all that kind of stuff. But they are freaking hysterical people. John Slattery. Got and Carrie Kinney, she was a part of the Reno squad, but it's like all the people from the state are coming back together in another movie, which, the last time they did that was probably Wet Hot American Summer. And, give me another state style comedy. I'm signed up, but it's not this week. It's coming up next week.
The first Wet Hot American Summer, pretty good.
Yes, all well, it took 15 years before people were like, "This is really good," and then they doubled down and made their money.
Oh, really? Because when that shit first came out, I'm like, taking me higher and higher. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it's so good. The original Wet Hot American Summer, so good, so good. I mean, Paul Rudd, iconic in that movie. Everybody's iconic in that movie. Day by day. All right. Anyway, that's what's coming out in theaters this week. Let's talk about movies that are in theaters.
Paul Rudd, he's like a man slut in like the whole thing.
He was like one of the older camp counselors that was like making out with all the. Yeah. Just like, I don't want to do it. And it's so good. The original Wet Hot American Summer is so good. Okay, I got to talk to you about Supergirl. Let's dive into this. Man, what a disappointment. Okay. So there are people that I know that actually did like this movie, and there are people that I know that hated this movie.
I have not seen or heard both.
Hey, shout out to one of our local journalists, Stacy Ryburn at the Fayetteville Flyer, formerly Arkansas Democratic Gazette, said he loved this movie.
That's crazy because out in the world, media, YouTube articles.
Are you only looking at like Sniff Your Socks nerd media?
No. I've seen things from all over, and I've seen the ones from people that were like avid defenders before it came out, that then released a review, and they're like, hey, why was I defending this movie so hard? And then personal, like, people have texted me and they're like, hey, we watched this movie. Man, we didn't like it. And it's the kind of people that I would really expect to come out of this movie and be like, yeah, man, here's the good parts.
Here's the biggest problem I had with this movie. This movie could have been awesome. And this movie should have been awesome. It just kept getting in the way of itself. And it's because going back to what we were talking about in the first half hour of the show, everyone's trying to make everything a little too fucking happy all the time and a little too joyous all the time. And this story, I wasn't super familiar with the comic arc of this particular thing they were trying to adapt.
Neither was anyone that made the movie. They said that out loud.
And so I went back and I was like, okay, to objectively understand the things that I did and did not like about this movie, let me go do some digging. And I did find a pretty good article that kind of summed a lot of stuff up in ways that I was like, hey, I did notice this. It was on CBR. They did a 10 things that Supergirl movie changed from the comics, and they talked about. They did, two kind of a back and forth, like, maybe this kind of was a good choice, but most of it wasn't. And while reading this list, I was like, well, crap, because there was moments in this movie where I was like, it took away all the emotional opportunity for character development by making this choice. It took away a character that we all thought could have been great. They squandered it because they made this choice. One of the things that I really absolutely hated that they mentioned in this article too, Krim of the Yellow Hill. I was like, is this just like a throwaway character that they created because it looks like a Guardians of the Galaxy bad guy, some just like space brigand? And they're like, no, okay, Krim of the Yellow Hill is a huge character in this arc, but they made him this Mad Maxian, stupid, over the top, like uncontrollably obviously bad, kind of, you hear me talk about this a lot, like when I reference Rambo, because they made the bad guy so unnecessarily horribly bad and unrelatably bad.
In the later
Rambo, where it's like, oh yeah, okay, he's a warlord, that's bad, he's smuggling drugs, that's bad, he's kicking dogs and eating them because he's Asian, that's bad, and then he's also raping babies. Oh geez, how? Okay, yes, there's this is a deplorable monster, but from my research, what I did is like Krim of the Yellow Hill kind of looked like just a normal guy. And he was a warlord doing his warlord things, trying to survive, and he was powerful, and it made him a really interesting back and forth. But in this one, they put like studs in his face, and then they made him Immortan Joe. So they're like, not only is he bad, but he kidnaps young girls. And guess who's starring in the story? 2 young girls. And they're like, and then he enslaves them for sex. Mm-hmm. And you're like, was that necessary? Do we need to? Because now we're not looking at anything developmentally for this villain to make it an interesting battle. It's just like, here is too evil of a bad guy. You're not even looking at the guy as a character. He's just a bad guy to stop being bad.
Yeah, everything I've seen says that they gave him one character trait. He steals women to make children and then throws them away.
Yeah, and
that's all you ever know about him.
And that's all that they wanted you to know, because and they also, here's my other thing. That freaking dog. Like, he was Crypto the Super Dog was the worst part about the Superman movie, and they used Crypto as a plot device to make this movie also bad. Because Crypto, they tried to John Wick it to where it's like, oh, well, Crypto's sick, and her whole motivation through trying to fight these bad guys is to get back and heal her dog. Not, which was in the original book, this story where she develops this very intense relationship with the narrator of the fucking comic, who is this young girl. And you know, the comic is about their relationship building over a reluctant hero and this person who, you know, needs guidance and has the will of a hero, but the person that needs the will doesn't have it, and they become this duo that keeps each other in check. But instead, they take Ruthie, and she's this bumbling, stupid child that keeps getting into trouble incessantly, to where Supergirl's having to save her over and over and over and over.
Who's supposed to be like a sword master and can barely hold the thing up in the movie.
Basically, yeah. And she's just like, I am the daughter of a so-and-so, so-and-so, and I am naive and stupid. And then she gets into trouble, and then Supergirl has to save her. And there was a point, which was also supposed to be in the comics, where they go to a planet that has a kryptonite sun, and of course Supergirl is just screwed up. This was in the comics.
How does that work?
A green sun. It was like it had two suns. And it never had darkness. So it was like red, and then.
But the sun's not made of kryptonite. It's just green.
It's just green. It's a green sun, and it affected her like kryptonite. And this was in the comics, and it gave that particular part in the comics gave the Ruthie character this ability to, now I have to take care of this superhero. And it showed her in the story, she really had to step up and grow up and take responsibility and become her own hero in this story, so that she saved Supergirl. But all it happened in the movie is she just got scooped up and kidnapped by Baby Raper, and then we just had to wait for Red Sun to come back so Supergirl could be like, I'm gonna put the costume on now, I'm gonna kick guys in the nuts.
But how does she do that with a red sun?
Well, because the green sun went away. It was a.
But Superman and Supergirl are powerless underneath a red sun.
It was a yellow sun. That's what I would say. It was yellow and green, and it was like, okay, well, we're just waiting for the inevitable. There was no interesting stuff. But the thing that I liked about this movie is the character design was incredible. The practical effects were stunning. The alien makeup was over the top. They created this world. I wanted more planets. I wanted more of the stuff that made the universe feel big. Like, there's a reason that we all loved the Star Wars cantina. You know, because you're just like seeing all this, and it's like no context, but you know that there's aliens all over the place. Some of them have lines, some of them have implied backstories, and they set that up, and you're just like, oh, holy shit, this world's huge. And she's kind of comfortable with it because she's just been going around and whatever. And you're like, okay, this could be cool. And they fuck it all up. They just had it all, and then they dropped it, and then they scooped it back up, and then they dropped it. And even Jason Momoa. You know the worst part about it? He was trying too hard to be Lobo. No.
But was he just Jason Momoa, though?
No, he was trying hard to be Lobo and couldn't do it. And
did he say the word bastage?
Like 7 times.
Okay.
And he's like...
How many times did he call himself the main man?
4 times. And you know, from all the Lobo content that I've seen, which is mostly the animated series stuff.
But you got Brad Garrett being Lobo in Superman the animated series, and
which was
awesome. And then the next time you see Lobo animated, there's a Superman movie that's done really well with Lobo, where it's like Superman's debut in Metropolis, and he's already having to
I've
duke
seen
it out
that
with
one.
Lobo. That movie's good. And then the the Young Justice stuff, where Lobo comes in and just beats the hell out of him.
I think my problem is Jason Momoa was trying really hard. You could tell he was trying to sound like Lobo, and Jason Momoa just doesn't have a deep voice. He doesn't have an intimidating voice. And he was trying, and hearing Jason Momoa try to say bastages, it just, because it sounded like, all right, you bastages, instead of like, all right, you bastages, you know, like from the the diaphragm.
Why would he not just do how he did in Conan?
I don't know. He was too high pitch, but he was hitting the notes. And then there was a scene that I actually really liked because he was only there for his bounty. He didn't give a shit. He was just like, y'all are kind of in my way. I'm just here for that guy who happens to be one of these brigands. And he's like, whatever y'all are doing is fine. And he was fascinated with Ruthie because she's like on a mission. He's like, you're just like this tiny little speck of shit, but you just spit in that dude's face. He's like, all right, game recognized game, but he's not going to help, until that one dude happened to be there cut the dude's head off, put it in a bag, and he's like, well, see you later, tits. Good luck with all this. And like sped off on his bike and threw grenades everywhere. And I was like, okay, that was cool, but he was just trying too hard, and it was still Jason Momoa, and I think we just cannot unsee Jason Momoa.
Yeah, plus you didn't get like the dog or any like space dolphins or you got nothing Lobo out of it, right?
No. He did have his hook.
And a cigar.
He had a huge cigar. Came in just like poofing it at someone's face, and his entrance scene was probably the best part because Supergirl knew who he was. He walks in and she's like, oh shit, and they're like, just let him do whatever he's doing and leave. And the little girl was like, hey, mister, will you help us find this?
Okay, so they said that in the Superman movie, Superman has only been active for 3 years because there's the whole 3-3-3-3-3-3 bullcrap.
This was the last thing I was going to talk about.
And so Supergirl is supposed to arrive after Superman is a far well-established force on Earth and the broader galaxy. And that's when Supergirl's found, which is why even though she's 15 years older than Clark, she's so much younger than him. How is it that she has had these galaxy-wide adventures to run into the single remaining Zarnian, Lobo, to then be embarrassed by being seen around him?
Or just like trying to avoid him, knowing his reputation.
How long can she possibly have been active and traveling the galaxy to be aware of Lobo?
And that's the problem, that they're stepping on their own. Like, we say this a lot, like existence in the universe that you've created. And the problem is they wanted to include this storyline, but then they also made the problem of wanting to make Supergirl younger than Superman, because they wanted her to just like...
Because that's how Supergirl works.
Well, and they just wanted her to just look... But even though she's older in the comics, because, Clark gets away and she continues to live like on this weird little bubble, Krypton, whatever.
She sent off
already
in a spaceship.
born.
She's sent off in a spaceship too, by her dad. But she gets trapped in like a space-time.
But she's older.
She's older, but she doesn't age. So Clark grows up and becomes a full-grown adult while she's frozen in time, basically, and doesn't age.
They tried to explain all this away by saying, while she may be younger in years, she's more hardened in heart. And Clark's young because his heart is young, because he hasn't had to go through the shit that she has.
I'll take a shit on all that. Was she in Kandor, or are they in an entire different bottled city?
It was like a piece of Krypton that, while everything was getting destroyed, her father like set this force field that like protected this part, and it was like this huge mistake, and they wish they hadn't done it, and because everybody ended up dying anyway.
So why didn't they just make the city Kandor and have Brainiac be the one that took it the way...
It was glossed over pretty quickly, but that was another huge problem. And I was like, well, now you're setting it up for failure down the road because the timelines don't line up.
Right.
So anyway, I mean, and that's the thing, is like, if they had just kind of stuck with what they had to work with, it probably would have been pretty cool. But they didn't, and I think that it's suffering because we all have superhero fatigue. We have a lot of this stuff that we don't want to see anymore.
There was some article that gave this a name for this movie, Scriptonite.
Ooh, yeah. That's fitting.
Now, the woman that wrote this script, a one-time actress, now has screen wrote exactly one time for this movie. She also was in interviews where she said, well, in the comic, this happened, so I decided to change that. And then the guy, or the people, I think it was a guy that wrote the comic, he was like, that's not what happened in my comic. And so the people that wrote this movie and James Gunn and stuff did not know this story. They did not bother to learn it. The director of this movie was like, yeah, I didn't read the comic before I decided to direct the movie because I didn't want to have that in front of me. It's like, you didn't want to have the friggin' storyline, the storyboard laid out for you before you go in and make a movie. This is a mess.
Yep, it's a mess. Well, anyway, it's in theaters right now. You can check it out if you want to. We got to move along because we got to talk about Jackass, the best and last, the finality of a franchise started 25 years ago. 25 years ago, we've been watching these guys kick each other in the nuts. I mean, it has gone back more than that.
I was going to say even longer if you were getting into the CKY stuff and everything. Yeah.
Yep, all those old videos and all those things that
if you were a real cool dude in the 90s,
watching all the skate videos and stuff, and you followed the evolution of these guys that were in split worlds. And, obviously not all of them are around. Brandon DiCamillo, I don't even know where he is these days. And then Rab himself, I didn't see any. I heard one mention to Rab himself in one of the clips. They said something about Rab. And I was like, yeah, where is Rab? And, I haven't done my due research on why these people were not in the movie. But this is a lot of archival footage that was sort of meant to be a swan song. And I don't think it was marketed as supposed to be this whole new, crazy, over-the-top Jackass adventure. I think it was like, we're doing new stuff, but we're also saying goodbye.
See, well, okay, so I didn't see a lot of the stuff that said that it was just going to be a clip show. The majority of the movie is a clip show. And even in this movie, they do say that they're showing unseen stuff. It opens up with something that has never been shown or broadcast before,
which was intense,
with very good reason.
Because Johnny Knoxville is an insane person.
He is an insane person. But the rest of it was stuff from the other movies, and that's where the best came in, because they picked some of their favorite clips from the other movies and one or two from the TV show. And then the most of the movie ended up being stuff that I've been watching in the other
Well, we're
movies.
also super fans, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I say I guess. Like, yeah, you're right. Well, we just talked about CKY and original Jackass and the movies, and I watched Wild Boys. And, yeah, anything that they've put out for this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I want to see it. So that part of it, honestly, it's not a bad movie, right? It's the theater was laughing.
Oh, I was laughing.
There was constant laughter. People behind my brother and I got grossed out and cringed, and they had to get up and leave the theater for a minute.
Yes.
So that
there was, I think the one, like, even my I went with my mother and stepfather, and the Twister.
Oh yeah.
Where they were like, well, now that we're all in our 50s, we need to have a prostate exam. If you've never had to drink this stuff is really bad. And they all chug it, and they put on like cellophane like pants.
They did the Tim and Eric poop pants, underpants thing where it just fills up around your legs. So my brother said something after the movie about that. He was like, when that segment started, I wanted it to go longer so that it would be funnier, but I'm really glad that it ended where it did.
But everybody, there was people in my theater that were just like going,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a gross out movie, dude. So this movie is what you said scary, the new Scary Movie is. Nothing but dicks and poop the whole time.
The whole time.
Now they do it in a funny way. There's the high jump skit.
Oh God, with Chris Pontius
was really funny.
Oh,
just
my
because
God. That was the most dick I've seen in a Jackass movie.
Just
ever.
Because they kept it going for as long as they did, and they're like, oh no, we got to try again. Oh no, we got to try
do
again.
it one more time.
Yeah. Like that was funny to me, just because it was one of those things where they ran it, and you're like, okay, I've seen enough of this. But then they ran it long enough that it came back around.
Because that was the joke. Just watching him do it once, be like, okay, yeah, they're just naked and doing stupid. But doing it over and over and forcing you to watch, that was
it was pretty funny. They did the whole Bruno thing. It was like in Bruno, there was a scene that's just nothing but dingus on the screen. But that part was really funny. There were some of the things that were really silly, and I got big tickled about a lot.
There was
of it.
a lot of fun, goofy stunts, and
I was disappointed that it was as much of a clip show as it was, only because there were skits that they did where they said part 2, but there was no part 1.
Right.
And so it's like, well, what happened to part 1? What got edited out? And there were people there cast members that you don't get to see do much things, but then you see little tidbits of it in the background or in the clips during the credits and stuff like that. And you're like, well, what got cut out there? How come these people that are always standing in the group had zero participation? What did they do that we missed out on? So I kind of want this one to get the 0.5 treatment like they did with some of the other movies when it comes out for DVD, home video, all that stuff, because I want to see the things that we missed. Maybe less poop and ding-dongs, maybe more pranks and skits and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, since all of these guys are so recognizable, the only pranks they can play is on each other. They don't get to go and do the public thing.
Well, and now they're too celebrity.
The Johnny Knoxville as bad grandpa going into the male strip club, that was really funny.
That was pretty good.
That was really funny.
Well, and it just shows you. And then one of the things that it was almost a question that I had watching Jackass for so many years is it always felt like Knoxville was just this ringleader mastermind, but he was always punishing other people. But then they really drive the point home at the end. It's like they all follow him because he is the craziest one. It's like at the end of the day, he's going to do the most dangerous stuff. He's going to do the wildest idea, and he's going to put his money where his mouth is. Mm-hmm. And you go back and you see it starts and ends with insane Johnny Knoxville shit. Shooting himself in the chest with a gun and then being hauled off in the stretcher like at least 7 times. Mm-hmm. And just going back and watching the history of this stuff, like there was really impressive people that were involved. Like Spike Jonze was at the original. He was in this, and they showed footage of him like skateboarding behind on a,
Mm-hmm.
And Spike Jonze is an incredible director. And just following these.
Well, before I ever heard his name as a director, I knew him from Jackass.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting to see how. I mean, they had the CKY, Wild Boys, Viva La Bam, Homewrecker, Blastozoid, Dr. Steve-O, Bam's Unholy Union, Bam's World Domination, Bam's Badass Gauge Show, and of course Jackass and all the movies. It's crazy how big of an empire it became, and it was really interesting. And that's where I said last week. That's where the heart comes from. You just see these people. You're really getting an active look at how people age and how people, when you see youth start to fade and you're like, you're holding on to it and you want to continue to be that person in your youth, but sometimes your body just doesn't let you, but you have to keep moving forward. And you hear interviews with guys like Steve-O and some of the guys at Jackass that are all sober now. I just did a little bit of research. That's why Rab was not in this, is because much like Bam, they're still struggling with substance abuse. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of the Jackass crew are like, no, we're sober. Either come with us on this journey. We're not going to indulge you into these bad habits. That's why Bam didn't have any new content for this movie. They just showed stuff that they hit the cutting room floor from the last movie. So Bam was in it, but he's just taking the check. But yeah, Merle just mentioned on Twitch, he's like, never forget that photo of Bam editing on 2 17-inch CRT monitors. Yeah, man, it's the end of an era. And, these guys, and if without these guys, YouTube wouldn't have been a thing. Without these guys, like, so much of what we know in terms of how we consume media, I don't think people really give these guys the credit where credit is due of just filming yourself doing stuff. These guys made that cool, because before then people weren't really thinking to just, hey, I'm just doing this all the time and I'm going to film myself doing this all the time. And they're just like, now it's just commonplace, and I truly believe that because of this show and because of these guys, social media and the concept of content creating really spawned from these guys. And whether or not other people believe that, I whatever, but I do. I truly do, because it's so authentic and so raw, But anyway, Jackass. I wouldn't recommend this movie to a first timer, of a Jackass viewer, because like you said, it's kind of a clip show. To me, it was like, man, yeah, I'm going through memory lane here. But it was fun. I had a great time.
Yeah, if you are a fan of Jackass stuff, it is something. The new stuff is worth watching. The clip show can be a little bit of like, oh, all right, yeah, that was pretty good, or oh man, that I can't believe how gross that was.
And every time I see Ryan Dunn, I get sad.
Or some of the hits that the guys take, and you're just like, oh man, that had to hurt, you know. So yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where it's if you decide to watch them, it's gonna be the one to cap it off.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Well, it is that time where we got to give you the top 10 movies in the box office currently for the weekend of June 26th through 28th. Jake's going to give you the top 10 movies in the U.S., starting with number 10, working our way down. Go for it, Jake.
Yeah, all right. So at number 10, Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu, 6 weeks out, brought in $1.75 million, bringing it up to $175 million, with another 150 elsewhere in the world, $327 million. Disney can't be so stoked
they
about
wanted
that.
more.
And then at number 6, number 9, dropping from number 6, 4 weeks out from Amazon, Masters of the Universe brought in $2.3 million, bringing it up to $62 million. Another 47 elsewhere, bringing it up to 109. Now that movie, everyone was worried about going into it, but you said it was not bad. A lot of people that originally were like, man, I don't like this. I don't like the idea of it. They went and watched the movie and came back like, you know what? It was a lot better than I expected it to be. They did some things very right. They did some things very wrong, but they did some things very right.
I just think that it was an unnecessary movie.
Yeah, for sure. And then opening at number 8, a movie I didn't even hear about coming out. Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, The Calamity, brought in $3 million. So an unadvertised anime movie for a franchise that's been going on for far too long, with a series that a lot of people don't really like, the 1,000-Year Blood War thing, is at number 8 over Masters of the Universe and Star Wars.
No joke.
So that's something to think about. And then at number 7, Scary Movie, the other Dick and Poop movie, that's out right now. 4 weeks from Paramount, brought in $3 million, bringing it up to 103.6. Another 112 elsewhere, so it's at 215 plus right now. And then at number 6, Back Rooms, 5th week out from A24, brought in another 4.3, bringing it up to 184.2. Another 146.6, so it is sitting
doing
just
Masters
under
of the Universe numbers with
331
very
million.
little budget.
Yeah, that is awesome. And then above it, at number 5, Disclosure Day, brought in $8.25 million in its 3rd week, bringing it up to 94.5. Another $100 million elsewhere, so it's sitting under $200 million so far.
It's not doing Backrooms numbers.
Yeah, I wonder what its special effects budget
who knows?
cost to be able to try and...
Spielberg.
Yeah. And then opening at number 4, the movie we're just talking to you guys about, Jackass, Best and Last, brought in $8.5 million. I don't know if they have an international audience. It looks like they brought in around $2 million so far.
Just over just over 10. And you know, this is the weakest opening that any of them has had, but they kind of expected that, I think. You know, I think the highest one was 22 at the top of its game.
I think this had the least build up to any of them as well. Because it's one of those things, I didn't start seeing it until advertisements until recently, and even then there was like a pause between it. Like, oh yeah, that movie.
And then it was like coming out next week.
Yeah.
You know?
And then holding at number 3, Obsession.
This one's crazy.
$9.7 million in its 7th week out, bringing it up to 233.8 in the U.S. alone. Another 137.4, bringing it to $371.1 million from dudes on YouTube with a $75,000 budget.
It's the power of a pretty well-made movie and a lot of people talking about it and saying go see it.
Yeah. What's the YouTube? That's a bad idea, dude. Those YouTube skits that those guys do, or Facebook or TikTok or whatever you watch it on, those guys are really funny. Sometimes their stuff is kind of creepy. Watching them turn a movie into a very successful thing and people being like, yeah, man, this is scary. I know someone who said that he had to walk out of that movie because it was such a freaky deal for him. So, hey, that's awesome. Good job them. crushing it. And then opening in the number 2 spot with $37 million. Remember, this movie opened on Wednesday, right? And it has brought in only $37.1 million, which is at least $10 million less than what they had projected and anticipated for it to be a flop. DC's president has already come out and said, yeah, Supergirl really shit the bed. We didn't get any on that one, but it's about the broader picture of that universe and things to come. So we're just writing this one off.
Yeah.
Dude, they've already, DC's heads, like Warner Brothers guys, have already been like, oops, well, just get away from it. Let's move on.
Superhero fatigue's real, man.
Yeah, another 25.5 elsewhere in the world, bringing it up to 62.6 in...
Its budget was too big. Its budget was too big for what they were trying to do.
Yeah, 5 days. It had 5 days, and it made $62 million globally. It has a long way to go. A very long way to go, and not hardly anyone.
No one's
providing
believing in
any
it.
positive. Yeah.
It's sitting under a green sun right now.
Yeah. Millie Alcock's interviews, the writer having no experience and not knowing the source material, the director having no idea about the source material. 7 of his last 8 movies were flops.
It probably doesn't help that they're up against Toy Story as well. So
it doesn't help that they tanked their own movie before it ever came out, and that it's a movie that should not have come out this early in the DCU. We have a total of one DCU movie so far, and it was a weak entrance into that. I think
that they were planning on a slam dunk just because of girl power. And
dude, you can't start with a secondary character. You can't do that. You need to have the Trinity. If you're doing DC, you got to have the Trinity. You got to have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You have to have a genesis of that universe. You have to maybe give us a Justice Society or something. Don't go into secondary characters that rely heavily on the primary character to exist for you to know why that secondary character even needs to be there when the first entrance is like, here's Superman losing to a guy that is waiting to receive orders. I mean, yeah, he has super speed. We've seen him fly around a planet fast enough to turn back time. He races the Flash and can possibly win, and he can fly across a galaxy without needing to breathe of his own power. But you know what? He'll wait the 20 seconds of delay for a guy to yell orders to be punched in the mouth. Supergirl rightly deserves to not make any money. James Gunn needs to be gone. They need to reset DC again. Hey, and then at number 1, Toy Story 5. You should look up the China numbers for Supergirl, by the way. Less than 2 people per theater average. It made just over $9 per screen. They've already said it's going away next Thursday. Out of theaters, gone. But at number 1, holding number 1 in its second week, Toy Story 5 brought in another $70.8 million, bringing it up to just under 300 here in the U.S., almost 300 elsewhere in the world, bringing it up to $585.9 million. I think animated really succeeds where others don't, because
especially on holiday weekends,
you can dub it.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, but very, very, very true. But all right, guys.
Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, something like that for sure.
Well, right on, gang. Well, thanks for tuning in. That's it. We're out of time. We will see you guys next week. Have a happy and safe 4th of July weekend this weekend. Go see a movie. Stay out of that heat.
Please come back with all your fingers so you can keep typing in comments.
That's right. And go ahead and like and subscribe wherever it is you like to like and subscribe. So we do this live every Monday night on YouTube and Twitch. But you can just download the podcast, just the audio form, wherever it is you download podcasts. Just search for the Drive-In Speaker Box Podcast. We'll get it right there to you. And, we will see you next week.
See ya.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.